Hello everyone. So, this is a fucking mess. It's been a long time since I should have done that video already, but I now have the rates of the banner, and I wanted to have them before I could actually make a video on it. Since, well, I'll be completely honest. My friend was not able to provide the rates. I had to actually wait until Gamepedia popped them up. Thankfully, no new unit were added to the pool, so the rates of off-banner should be the same, well, roughly the same, if not the same, as the last banner. So, just do know that the off-banner might be off by maybe 0.02%. Stuff like this. I do also want to say, I did say I was going to skip this banner, but then I fucked up on stream and I ended up being like, fuck it, and well, I have a Flora and a Silas now. The summon session will be up on YouTube. Maybe tomorrow, it depends on when I actually get around to doing it. Anyway, let's start. And here comes probably the worst unit of the banner, if I'm being honest. She has a good offense, but her bulk is insufferable. 16 defense is not going to go anywhere, to a point where it makes Setsuna look like a brick wall, and that's kinda sad considering. She cannot run life and death for the life of her. If you run life and death, you're actually dying from 46 attack. Even with Death Tactic, that's 52 attack that kills you. Which, that's bad. As a result, unless you have Fire Sweep, you're kinda screwed. Straight up. Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that she has Bull Valor, she would be the one being demoted, not Silas. As a unit, she's one of those units that are not terrible, but not great either. I'm thinking a lot about Setsuna here. Setsuna is not good. In fact, she is quite terrible nowadays. Purely because the power ceiling is so much higher, and her attack is kind of low to deal with armored units. In a lot of cases, you do need a lot of support to be consistently able to take them out. So, yeah, that's rough. There's nothing you can do to change that, though. But, well, there is something you can change. It's called Merge. And that's the problem. See, Setsuna at plus 10 actually is better than Nina, that goes without saying. But on top of that, you have actual easy access to IVs. Your bulk is more spread out, so you can actually take a hit when it matters. You can actually run Life and Death instead of Fury, because I'll be honest, her bulk is so bad that she can't even run Life and Death. But on top of it, if she doesn't run something like Fury, she still dies from so many threats. She needs support like Death Tactic and Fury to be consistently able to take a hit and be able to hit Desperation. If not, you're kind of out of luck, if I'm being honest. For reasons like this, it might be like the best idea would probably be Slaying Bow with a Death Refine. Yeah, I know, Death Refine on a unit with no death. What the fuck is this? If you don't do this, you're killing yourself. That's the problem. Like, oh, I could go for two more points of speed. Yeah, that's useful. Not really. Her speed is already good enough as is. I could go for more attack. You get 1 point. Does it really matter at that point? Not really. So, Def is like the best she gets out of it. I think she gets something like 3 defense and 3 HP, or I'm not too sure how ranged unit works exactly. It's been a while. But at least it would improve her bulk enough to a point where she would be able to be somewhat bearable, I'd like to say. Somewhat able to take a hit a bit better. Because as it stands, it's just 46. You're working with 51 bulk here. It's not great. And like I said, she is the worst unit of the banner. That's kind of a fact. Her weapon is just... Why? Honestly, that should have just been a legendary fucking Felicia's Blade but bow. But at the same time, considering her offense, that would have been a bit too good. Then again, with the fact that her def is so shit and she's going to be locked to 5-star anyway because of Bow Valor, well, it's like, at least it would give her some individuality, at the very fucking least. As it stands, it's rough. It's really rough for her. She's kind of screwed. Like I said, Slaying Bow is probably our best bet at this point. It's kind of funny though, because Leaf does get a legendary weapon, and it's basically just that, with 3 more def. And you're kind of forced to go def plus on this. While Leaf would like to just have cooldown -1, this girl would just like to have def +3. It's kind of silly. Anyway, let's move to comparison. You know, the irony here is that those are 2 guys and the girl is into guys fucking themselves. So, She is, in my opinion, probably the best rest tank of this game. Well, rest tank with offense? Actually, that is debatable. If you're talking about rest tank, Ines is probably better. The whole reason why Ines is better is because you can just slap unit around them with Nidhogg, and then you end up having more res, while also having more attack and speed than her with just 2 units. You end up having a actual pretty comfortable 7 point of attack lead, because of course he has a 14 might weapon. And Nina will have a 12 might weapon at best, unless you refine to attack, obviously. So, that's 7 attack, that's 1 speed, 2 def, and 4 res. Same HP. Literally better in everything. As a rest tank archer. But, here's the thing though. That's kind of how all they can do, just because of how lopsided their bulk is. Gaius is probably the best off out of them, but he also has the worst offense out of the 3. But at the same time, since he has a 53 bulk, and you know, he comes with def ploy, so you only need attack ploy seal, he's the most accessible and easy to, you know, work with. Not really accessible, but really, he kind of just comes pre-built, basically, almost. So, yeah. Obviously, though, Nina can actually use attack ploy and def ploy pretty well. That does cost you in very important fodder, though, so it's kind of debatable if you want to do this. If you're going with a Slaying Bow set, if you want to improve that bulk, attack ploy is absolutely required. There is no question here. It is required. I cannot stress this enough. If you take a Slaying Bow, refine it to defense, and then on top of this, you actually go Fury with Def Tactic and Attack Bow, you have an effective 33 defense. It works in both phases. So at that point, you'd be able to actually defend yourself. That does require a good amount of, well, of work on your side though, and you do actually end up being 2 points behind in attack and speed because you don't run life and death. You could run Life and Death at that point. It's still kind of shaky. You only have 60, well, roughly 60 bulk? Because I'm not too sure about how much HP you get from Refine. I really should just memorize that part. But outside of that, not much to really say. Innes is the better rest tank, still to this day. And we all know how useful he is nowadays. Yikes. If you're talking offensively, there's plenty of archers that just completely outclasses Nina. As sad as this is, Bright Cordelia is about just as bulky as this girl, and, well, has 35-35, which is a bit better offensively. So, you know. And then you have Takumi, who just completely shits on every archer. Seriously, Takumi is probably the best archer outside of Jacob, and it's only because Jacob has access to Bold Fighter. If he didn't, I'd say Takumi would actually be better. Obviously, I'm talking about Summer Takumi. Anyway, let's move on to Silas. The Blue Lucas on a horse. So, the more I look at him, the more unlikely it feels that he's going to get demoted, if I'm being honest. Steady stance, even death wave, reposition, slaying spear. All of this is good for Father. If he is actually demoted, that's 3 point of pool added. That's steady stance, so you can actually kill him for steady stance, and then at 4-star, mind you. And then you can kill Brave Eye for steady breath and Aver both at once. Even Death Wave, that would be the first wave skill in the actual pool. Luck to 5-star, of course, but that's fine. Steady Stance is the skill available completely at 4-star, which is definitely welcome. Steady Stance was added to this game with Shiro, which is near a fucking year old. And I don't think we actually had a single character with just Steady Stance since then. Fucking hell. Like, we had Steady Posture, we had Mirror Stance twice, I believe, Sylvia and Morgan M. Steady Posture being Quan. And Sturdy Stance, which is legendary Ephraim. One of them, so basically 2 5-star exclusive, well, 5-star exclusive. One of them is most likely dropping to 4-star, and which is Sylvia, which is cool. Like, actually, wait, Mirror Stance is attack and res. Bracing Stance, which is okay. So Bracing Stance, Elysian Traveler Olivia, who also has chill speed and guidance. Far more important fodder. Sturdy Stance, legendary Ephraim, too important for scoring. A legendary hero, never should be foddered. And fuck, what's the last one? Steady Posture, which is Quan, which is first off double rally plus fodder, sadly. But also a very good unit to begin with, and 5-star exclusive most likely. If he drops, I'm going to shit myself, but I don't expect that to happen. I don't. So, what about him? Well, he basically comes with a pre-built kit, making him sit at 52 def if you refine his weapon to defense. 52 def, let that sink in. At that point you can actually KO Ira while taking at max about 20 damage. Unless she's buffed, of course. And unless she procs Ragnar Lestra twice, which can kind of change a lot of things. But, yeah, you can actually wall Ira, Zelgius with guard. You can actually do that if you have guard instead in quick riposte in the seal slot. There's plenty of things you can do. You basically function essentially the same as Lucas. Lucas is 38 defense. He has 36. That's about it. Someone did point out how he's very, very similar to another unit. Another cav, actually. Which is Frederick. Now, Frederick has the same attack, the same defense, 1 more speed, a bit more HP, but less res. Yeah, I can kind of see the resemblance, eh? So, Yeah, he actually can wall 2 of the most threatening red of this game. Very solid arena assault unit, but if you remove the whole arena assault part, it kind of is not much, is it? It is what it is, though. I will say, definitely a fantastic unit overall to have just for AA. But do not summon on the banner for him. If you're summoning for blue, you're summoning for Ophelia. That's just how it is. Honestly, Silas is the greatest example of, well, if he is actually demoted, he's the greatest example of why 4-man 5-star banners are a terrible idea. Now, you might be wondering, why do I precise 5-star banner? That's because, see, if they were smart on how they would introduce new hero, here's what they would do. They would basically be like, okay, so we have 3 5-star focus, and then we have a 4-star focus, a 4-star exclusive unit focus, which in this case would be Silas, unless the unit to drop would be Nina for some fucking reason. You get the idea. That way the rates are actually better for 5 stars, and then you have a actual 4-star focus. Because no one, and I mean no one, wants to summon for a unit that just is going to get demoted anyway at the end of the banner. It just feels like you wasted your currency. Unless you really like the character and you just wanted to merge on him or whatever, which that's completely fine. But like, no one is happy right now to pull Silas. No one. Just like no one was happy pulling Oscar when they were pulling for Nephany. There's just no reason to do either shared color or shared 5-star rarity color. Just make a 4-star exclusive focus. And the way the focus would work is essentially whenever you pull a 4-star, you have 3% chance of pulling him. There would be no pity rate increase, of course, but, you know, at least there's that. Or I guess maybe more than 3%, because at that point it's basically the same rate that any unit has of being pulled at 4-star. So maybe double the rate, make it about, I don't know, 6% of the banner is just dedicated to him for 4-star pulls. That would be a cool idea, and if the unit is good, well, people will still pull because they're like, ooh, I can get copies. I can get copies and make him +10. Pretty easy on this banner. I can see people definitely summon, if he was a 4-star exclusive, for 11 copies of the guy, and just working on him, because a decent deal of people like him, because he's one of the, well, more bearable character of Fates, even though, wow, you're my best friend. I don't even remember you, dude. You're my best friend. You know. Jabs at Fates aside, if 4-star focus were a thing again, and like I said, I can definitely see people wanting it and pulling for it. It just makes sense. I don't understand why they don't do it. It's just, it's frustrating. Anyway, let's move to comparison. So Silas is part of a group of 3 characters, or rather 5. That is Berkut, Clive, Quan, Ephraim, well, legendary Ephraim, and himself. Now, this is kind of a peculiar group because they all have this abnormal defense for a fucking cavalry unit. Like, for example, Ephraim has 33 def, has 30 stance, so that's 37. Quan has 36 because of his lance. And then you have Silas, who basically blows all of them out of the water just because of his base kit. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, what? He is the most bulky of all of the units of this group. He is a better Berkut in stat alone, I believe, in basically everything. might be wrong here. I did not want to try to fit 5 characters in a screenshot, so sorry about that, but it is what it is. So yeah, he is the bulkiest of the 5, and he's also the easiest to build / upgrade. Berkut is GHB reward. Clive is Tempest Trial reward, so even worse than GHB. Then you have Legendary Ephraim, who's a legendary hero, so only in the pool like every 4 months for like 5 days. Then you have Quan, who, well, first off, 5-star exclusive. Second, Rally Defense Speed Plus. It's kind of hard to justify merging him unless you're like me and you're like, fuck it, I'm doing it, I like the guy, I'm going to fucking build him. But, you know. And then you have Silas, who's going to most likely become a 4-star. Hopefully become a 4-star, because if Nina gets demoted, that's just going to be disappointing, if I'm being completely honest. Nina is not bad, and the fact that she would be able to have easy merges would actually help her a lot, as a matter of fact. But Silas would just bring so much more. Having a new repo in the pool would just be formidable. And Steady Stance is also fantastic. Honestly, if I'm being completely honest here, I feel like no one's gonna be demoted though. Silas feels a bit too good to be in the 4-star pool. Now, if he is demoted, hell yeah. But I'm just saying, he does feel a bit too good for it. Which is a shame because, well, I mean, it's Silas. You don't expect him to be that good. But he has so many good skills. Slaying Spear has not been in the pool yet either, so that's 20 refined stones saved, I guess, if you're not struggling to find uses for them. I'm literally refining every fucking weapon my Lachesis has right now because I have nothing else to do with them. However, I spent like 600 do I think last stream, so you know, my do stash is a bit low. So yeah, there's that. And I kind of want to, I also put do in another unit, so anyway. So yeah, he does not exactly outperform Quan or Ephraim. As a matter of fact, they both outperform him. He outperforms Recruit and Clive, obviously. But yeah, also do realize that if you go Res Plus, Berkut's Lens is definitely an option. If you've seen Show Me Your Build, which I posted basically yesterday because it's what, 6 AM right now? Why am I still up to make this video? If you've seen Show Me Your Build, I showcased a Berkut. And the Berkut was using Berkut's Lens in DC. He was hitting 36 defense and 35 res. And that's unbuffed. So, you know. Unbuffed, no seal slot. With distant counter, that's basically 42-41 against mages. If you're running also 45 horses, that's 48-47. At this point you're extremely bulky, but you can also go a step further with drives. So, you know. He's actually really, really solid as a result. But, yeah, I think that's about enough. Let's move on to the third one. Now, this one might surprise you, because I'm pretty sure most people were expecting Ophelia to be here, because as usual, I'm putting them in order from worst to best when I present the characters. And yeah, no, Flora was a mistake. And if I'm being completely honest, I will say that she is good, she's also very peculiar, but that weapon effect does not fit her whatsoever. I'm just going. When we're going to move to the comparison, I'm going to to show something that's just going to make this weapon look so dumb. So dumb that she's the one having it. So, alright. First noteworthy thing to point out, solo skills. Really good skills. Wall Heart, Legendary Ephraim, and Base Ephraim if you run Flame Synchromon can all use that kind of skill. Attack Def solo would probably be the best for all three of those people, however, so do keep that in mind. So, what else? Well, this is a cooldown -1 weapon, so Iceberg is 2 cooldown. If you have enough attack, Heavy Blade can actually work really well with this set. You will be able to just attack and proc Iceberg. Or Glacies if you don't want to rely on Desperation, because Desperation do synergize with the weapon. As long as she gets a free follow-up from the weapon, you can just run Desperation and it will hit twice in a row, which is absolutely fantastic. So as a result, we want to try to make Heavy Blade as consistent as possible. Now, you have 34 attack with a 14 might weapon and a +6 attack special, which means you're sitting at 54 attack. That is a bit low, I'm very well aware, but we can actually make this work. Now, we have 54 attack, and then you add attack tactic, that's 60 attack. Well, already there that works not too shabbily, but not too great either. So, if you're going to go for a heavy set build and you don't have attack plus, because if you have attack plus you're sitting at 63 attack. The only type of characters that are going to have enough attack to shrug off Heavy Blade are green. Or Effie, but your Effies would just stomp your face in any way, so it doesn't matter. So, it would be to run Attack Ploy. So if you're not attack plus, you want to run Attack Ploy. The reason why Attack Ploy over Death Ploy is because then you can proc Heavy Blade. If you proc Heavy Blade with Desperation, you get an extra 22 damage. Death Ploy would give you an extra 10 damage. And Attack Ploy is also extremely good for supporting the entire party. So, you know, this is definitely a good option. Now, she also gets 20 defense whenever dealing with DC unit or Dragonstones, which means she is weak against bow and dagger units. Thankfully, either of those things are basically dead and non-existent in Arena, so while, you know, armored DC units are fucking everywhere. As a result, she is definitely going to be able to get follow-ups where it matters. You do have to be careful, and you do have to have things to buffer attack. Oh, and also I do want to point out, if you're going to run double drive attack on one of your units to buffer up, Heavy Blade is already consistent enough. Death Ploy is going to do you just fine then. But yeah, she can counter, she can even kill Zelgus if you're careful enough. If you run Death Ploy and you have enough attack, which is very possible, even without attack plus, you're at 60 attack. A plus 10 Zelgus is 59 attack, unless they have a rally that buffs attack, which those are a thing, just not very available. Speed Def is Oscar, Def Res is Roderick, and Speed Res is Skeltu. We don't have a single attack, double rally attack in the pool, so it doesn't tend to be ran too much. However, Jerome do have rally attack def. This is why my Ira has double rally attack def. And there's another Tempest Trial unit that also has it. I believe it's Elliewood, but this one you shouldn't kill. You shouldn't kill at all. While Jerome is just a fantastic example of how not to make a unit, because it's just basically an IV-less Shirshi without Shirshi's axe. Ellie would, if they do anything in the long run that could actually allow you to merge him, would be absolutely insane, since he has 175 BST. He would actually outscore Gwendolyn and give you more options to run in Arena, which would be fantastic. But this is not about Eliwood, this is about Flora, and yeah. So, as I said, you'll have 60 attack, BK will have 50, not BK, Zelgus will have 59, Heavy Blade procs, and you get your follow-up. The problem with this, however, is depending on the setup, you might be able to just fucking jizz with his Black Luna all over you, and you're dead if that's the case, you're just dead meat. 38 HP is not enough to soak up 59 attack, Black Luna, whatsoever. So, at that point, this is why you want Desperation. If you have Desperation, you can actually bypass that completely and just flat out kill him before he gets the chance of doing anything. So, yeah, this is just basic knowledge, really. But I'd figure I'd point that out. And also, even with 60 attack, you do what? 18 times 2? You do 36 damage, right? Plus 10 Zelgus should have around 50 HP. Iceberg procs, that's 22 damage. That's 58 damage. He has 50 HP. Even with a blessing, you kill him. Mind you, this is a undebuffed, so you haven't proc Deathploy on his ass. This is just pure damage without ploys. So yeah, in some cases you'll be able to just take him down because he just won't proc Black Luna immediately as well. So, you know. But yeah, she is a bit peculiar, I'll tell you that much, because the way Flora works is essentially, well, she's dealing mostly with armored units. She can't deal with blue ones. Red ones, she can absolutely fuck them up. Green ones are basically fucked. Dragon Stones, I believe now we can just tank her. The fact that she can doubly DC Summer Younger Young Tiki is absolutely fantastic. As a matter of fact, she might actually just be able to outright kill her. Same thing with the other two Tikis, though Adult Tiki is a bit too bulky sometimes. But at the same time, like, Iceberg is 22 damage straight up, so there's definitely time you'll be able to even kill Adult Tiki with her. I can definitely vouch for that. Still, at the end of the day, it's very hard to compare her to anyone. As a matter of fact, I can't. We don't have even any red bow unit to compare her to, and none of the colorless dagger quite fight the same way Flora does, aka having mixed bulk of 38-38, that's just not a thing. Being able to kill Zelgus, that's not a thing at all either, unless you're using a very high attack unit with a, you know, armor killer. And even then, that's debatable. She is definitely more consistent in those as well, because Zelgus has a very annoying stat spread of, like, decent enough HP, good defense, seriously, 42 defense, who thought this was okay? 42 defense at plus 10, obviously. And just the speed he has just makes him really annoying to double unless you run Swordbreaker. And if you're at the point you're running Swordbreaker just to KO him with a dagger unit, that's rough, because you're going to have to take a hit, even with an armor killer. And if you have to take a hit, if he procs Black Luna, you're dead. I think you get the idea. Desperation could give you a chance, but unlike Flora that gets a 22 damage proc, I don't think there's that many dagger units that could actually do something quite similar. She also just outright murder most of the green matchups, which most of the dagger units don't only have a problem with, but just outright gets dominated by. A lot of green armored units have so much defense they are absolutely aids to deal with, but in her case she basically hit in the 70 attack and just don't care and kill them. Even if they have 40 defense, she does 32 times 2, they're dead. As long as they hit back, which, yeah, can become a problem nowadays because a lot of armored units starts running DB4 instead of DC because DC doesn't do much because there's not that many mages while DB4 actually does something. And for those units, Flora will be underwhelming. She's most likely going to be in AA check, and even then she can be a bit shaky on that regard. Do be careful when using her. Now, I did say there was no one I could really compare to her, but I also said how stupid this comparison is. But here it is. On the right, we have one of the most bulky motherfucker of the entire franchise. As a matter of fact, contender for the most bulky unit of all of Fire Emblem. Capable of just taking a full attack of a maxed out attack Seliph with turfing, which is a 30 might weapon, which equals 55 attack, and take 2 damage from it. While he's on top of a fucking fort, which means he keeps fucking healing himself back, which means you're basically doing fuck all. He is so strong, as a matter of fact, that the game had to basically give you a fucking tome to be able that specifically says it counters the exact weapon Julius has. Oh, and also gives 20 defense, res, speed, and skill to the unit. You know, the lowest little thing. Yeah, if you don't have Julia alive, I don't think you can actually kill him. I'm not sure if you get a game over if Julia dies. I kind of hope you do, because killing Julius without Julia is not happening. He's actually very, very threatening. Julia makes him a fucking cakewalk, of course, but if you don't have Julia, well, you're shit out of luck. And then on the left, you have a fucking maid who not only has the same res as him with his weapon, but more defense, almost the same attack, and the same HP. Are you fucking serious? Yes, I know Loptus, fucking stupid ass name. Lupter is giving him a 6 bulk in both defense and res as well. At the end of the day, though, Flora gets 20 defense on her weapon. You're comparing 38-38 to 22-44. Who cares? Oh boy, I can tank mages slightly better. Whoa! And I have how much less death than this bitch? Oh yeah, 16. I almost have all her fucking death. What is wrong with this? This is so dumb. This is so dumb. This is so dumb. But, you know, I just thought I'd point that out. Just this accursed image. So, here comes the strongest unit of the banner. And that's really not up for debate. Before we start, though, I will point out this little thing. She has a super boon in attack. This is her best boon. What's their best boon, you may say? Literally anything, if you actually build her right. Or rather, if you have the fodder. Her best bane otherwise is res, because then she has even defense and resistance, because I'll be honest here, her res is not going to bring much to the table. If anything at all. She's not going to play shit with that stat, I can tell you that much. So, Why am I saying she is the strongest unit of the banner? Well, let's put it this way. If you have 2 units with an infantry pulse, or 2 mages with her, synergy alert, Lyndon Merrick actually has fucking shit that just combos with her because she's a mage. Just thought I'd point that out. But yeah, two mage, 2 infantry pulse, or one of both. Yeah, she just instantly has her AoE ready, which by the way should be replaced by Blazing Wind because Blazing Light is absolute ass and actually one of the worst AoEs, if not the worst. Because there's so little situation where this is actually going to be helpful. Yeah, no, I think it is actually the worst fucking AoE of this game. If you want to know who gives Blazing Wind, well, you have Navarre and you have Soleil. Anyway, so the way AoE works is they take your stat line on the character page. So like visible buff. Anything that's not visible don't count. Sturdy Blow works during combat, the AoE procs before combat. So it does nothing. Other skills such as, well, drives won't affect the damage of AoEs either. So it comes down to her base stat. Now, how much attack does she reach? Well, let's find out. Oh, and I guess I should point this out. Quicken Pulse plus a mage like Lind or Merrick could also be an option, or Quicken Pulse and Infantry Pulse. They all can be an option. Anyway, but yeah, 41 attack. Okay. The weapon, so that's 55 attack. Life and Death, because this is the highest increase of attack that actually is reflected on the stat spread, on this character page. 60 attack. Attack tactic. Oh, I'm already at 66 attack, and I can already tell you this is kind of stupid. If you're dealing with someone with 30 res, okay, 30 res, you do 54 damage before combat starts. I'm pretty sure you can do 1 more damage after the battle ends to finish it off, right? So, here's the thing that makes it really broken, though, and it requires low wind. Special Spiral. iPhone. Special Spiral will give you 2 charge after you proc the AoE, and because you have cooldown -1 on the weapon, well, it auto-charges itself after you do the attack, unless the enemy has guard, or actually no, it bypasses guard anyway because you just get the HP so low guard is out of reach. It's not in the HP threshold anymore. The only thing that's actually scary is Vantage, because the way AoE works is they proc before combat, so once you get into combat they are harmed to shit, so if they have Vantage they can hit you back. Thankfully Vantage is not very available the higher you go because it's not a 240 SP skill. So, alright. Basically what you're working with here is a walking nuke, and if you have Special Spiral you can just proc AoE all the fucking time, over and over, until the enemy's fucking dead. Well, until the enemy's fucking dead. You're basically killing 1 unit and harming everything around it, every time, with Blazing Wind. This is especially strong because she has this stupid amount of attack. 41 attack at base on top of an AoE is insane. Like, you know how Ares is really solid with that set? She actually has 2 more points of attack and hits the res stat, which is typically lower than defense. 30 res and lower are dead. They just straight up die. 54 damage is too much. And, well, they have 40 res, which is a lot, I know. You already do 39 damage on the first hit. Say they are blue. Well, we do 39 plus 26. They die. What if they're green? You do 39 again because because AoE completely disregard combat triangle. So you do 39 on the first swing, and on the second you do another 50. Yeah, you still do 54 damage on a 40 res combat disadvantage unit. This is stupid. This is absolutely stupid. And this is her best set. By far. By far her best set. I can definitely imagine her being extremely slept on as a result, honestly. Just the fact that she's basically Ares, but unlike Ares, she can just... I'm ready on turn 1, baby! Don't have to get into battle, don't care about my bulk, don't care about my HP, don't care about my res, don't care about my speed. All it comes down to is my attack stat and how much I can one spank the fuck out of people. Now, however, this requires special spiral, which is, I do understand, very expensive. So let's move on to comparison. If someone would tell me a month ago that I would put Odin as a comparison in any of those videos, considering the best unit of a banner, I would just be laughing my ass off and walking away, but here we are. Odin actually has such a good tome, he's actually worth talking about. Because if you do not have special spiral, you are kind of in an awkward spot. Her stat spread is kind of hard to abuse. She's basically a power crept version of Delphia in a way. Because unlike Delphia, she doesn't have like 2 defense. She is actually able to have 20 in both, which is actually really solid. If you do not have special spiral, speed plus res minus is probably your best bet. You will have equal defense and res, which means you'll be able to deal decently well against dragons. And you will lose no bulk against, of course, DC units. Also, res minus doesn't hurt her whatsoever. You're not playing with 23 res, are you? Are you? But see, here's the thing. If you give her plus 6 attack and speed, well, which basically Odin gives for free to himself and to others, so he already has buffing capability, well, you're basically looking at 43 attack, 39 speed, right? Odin is at 40 attack, 38 speed. Not that much behind, huh? But the thing is, Ophelia getting perfect IVs is nightmarish. Odin is in the 3 to 4 star pool, so getting speed plus is not a problem. And he's also naturally bulkier. Even if you go HP minus, you have 2 more HP, sorry, and 5 more defense on top of 2 more res. I'd say that's pretty good. Which HP minus is Odin's best bane, of course, because he has so much defense and res. Removing points into one of the 2 is kind of a problem. My Odin, which I did build on last stream, has something like 34 defense, 36 res, and 44 HP right now, because he's death minus. Which is just stupid. You are so bulky, and on top of that, I have 71 attack, and 46 speed, because he's 4 star plus 10. So, you know, it's definitely a good option to just go by. So, if you don't have special spiral, she is hardly an upgrade for Odin, and that's only if you have like the right stat spread. If you don't, Odin might actually outperform his daughter. What the fuck? What kind of world are we in? Where fucking Odin, the underdog, is now better than some of the best blue mage of this game. Fucking kill me. Now, the reason why I've put Ishtar here is because just like, you know, good old Ophelia, they both have a cooldown -1 weapon. This is relevant because they can both use Special Spiral and other sets. Now, the thing that basically makes Ishtar a bit more versatile, in my opinion, however, is that she can use Flashing Blade easily, absolutely easily, basically, because she basically initiates with 42 speed. And that's without considering an air A slot, whereas you have Ophelia at 33. Even at speed minus, even if she is speed minus and Ophelia is speed plus, Ishtar is still quicker. That just goes to show how quick this girl is, which is kind of funny because she's not meant to be this quick. And then we have Lewin, who basically has one more base speed, but like 40 speed versus 42 speed. Why is Ishtar quicker than Lewin? Lewin has 90% speed growth. What is this? Anyway, all that to say that Ishtar can actually abuse Flashing Blade pretty consistently. With little to no issue. Once you're in desperation, you can probably just run Luna, Draconic Aura, and just attack and proc it immediately because of Flashing Blade. As I said, it's very consistent. Now, someone might tell you, or might tell me rather, but Ophelia can do the same. Her speed is a bit too low, so you can probably run Heavy Blade, right? Unless you buffer the same way I said and your attack plus, you will struggle. If you're not attack plus, you will hit as high as 62 attack. And yeah, I do also want to point out that Panic Ploy might be a problem. Just thought I'd point that out, but outside of that, 62 attack fails to actually just get the free charge at times. So it's kind of rough, and getting in desperation range is also a problem. Ishtar also has that problem. As a matter of fact, it's even worse for her, unless you go Def Plus, which would be a peculiar choice to say the least. But yeah, essentially what it comes down to is Ishtar is a bit more consistent, whereas Ophelia is a bigger payoff kind of deal. However, like I said, if you are ready to spare Special Spiral for her, I would say she's actually the best blue mage of this game. Maybe tied with Reinhardt. Reinhardt has more utility, obviously, because she's just so easy to build, so easy to get good IVs with. But that doesn't change the fact that Ophelia is a monster. As a matter of fact, I'd say Ophelia with Special Spiral has a stronger damage potential than Reinhardt. Just because Reinhardt has to deal with Combat Triangle at all times. Ophelia with her AoE doesn't. The AoE completely bypasses Combat Triangle, whereas Dire Thunder, no it doesn't. You just put a good green with a lot of res and it tanks it. On the other hand, well, you would have, I don't know, Deirdre tanking, Ophelia. Which, by the way, Divine Naga only negates buff during combat, so you do have 66 attack when proccing the AoE. At least I believe so. Which, yikes. I'm pretty sure you can actually kill Deirdre with Ophelia, which is kind of stupid considering she's like the de facto best green mage tank of the game. Just goes to show how fucking busted AoEs can be if you can abuse them. And with that said, let's move on to the GHB, shall we? It's not a banner unit. I'm not saying Garen is actually better enough than Ophelia, though. I do hope this looks good enough. The whole Breath of Blight thing I ended up just doing by myself. Zanuck was too busy to actually get me the screenshot for the skill at first. He then replied a bit later, and actually didn't end up helping me when it matters, but it's fine. He would have actually needed to grind SP, which would have kind of sucked. So I kind of said, you know what, that's fine, you don't have to. But so I had to basically build a Breath of Blight template from scratch, which took me about an hour, just because I kept retouching it. Because I was like, is that good enough? No, that's not good enough. So I hope it looks okay. It is the actual effect for those curious, which is a very strange effect, and I have no idea what it's a reference to. But then again, it's fucking Fates. Not a lot of Fates. It's just something I remember in general. I'll be completely honest with you. And as usual, every dragon-related characters has to have a dragon special. Whoa! Fucking hell. So, okay, Breath of Blight. Breath of Blight? Oh, and by the way, I do want to say, the next week, Arena Season, Garen is basically your best bet, because the rest are all banner units. If you're not using Garen, you're using Fjorn. This is dark times, my friends. This is dark times indeed. Well, with that said, it neutralizes Falchion, Naga, etc. Which, kind of the worst color for that kind of effect. Oh look, I'm red. Naga doesn't fucking matter. I would just not care. But it's good against Falchion to some extent. He is pretty bulky. I believe he's probably the best mixed tank when it comes down to dragons. To some extent, because Young Tiki can be a bit better, but that's purely because of merges, which Garen does not have, and IVs, which Garen does not have. But Garen is basically a better Young Tiki in everything but speed, otherwise. Which is really good. It's not fantastic, like it's not amazing. We definitely got better for GHB units, and the effect he has, which only works on turn 4 and deals a whooping 10 damage to every unit in 3 space, which is admittedly a huge amount of space. I'm kind of surprised IS did not went like, ooh, threaten damage, Urder. So it has a bit more range, which is good. And it heals him? Excuse me? This is never going to be useful in Tempest Trial unless you basically wait for it to proc. Which is kind of pathetic, really. 4th turn. God damn, that's way too long. It should be at the start of turn 2 or 3 at best. If it was 2, it would be very consistent. And honestly, 10 HP doesn't mean much. Especially in infernal modes or abyssal mode where it's like everything has 90 HP or more. Can't wait to see Garen Special just completely destroy the entirety that is, how is it called? Fucking Relay Defense? Oh yeah, that shit mode. Like, what the fuck? It's a pretty weird effect. Honestly, the best part about this is just it neutralizes effective against dragon bonuses. And also that it has 16 might. Basically it. Dragon Fang is not that great. Bonfire / Ignis is probably gonna be better here. Distant Death being available on a free unit is definitely nice, but if I'm being completely honest, Distant Defense is a very niche skill. I think IS kind of realizes that, and that's why they kind of gave it to us. Oh well, I guess it is what it is. Now, Panic Ploy 3 at 4-star is actually fantastic, especially if you plan on using him as an arena bonus. Because if you add Summoner Support and Arena bonus, that's 58 HP. Which is pretty consistent for Panic Ploy. Sadly, not many buffs will be out there, so unless you score low, like in the 720 range, I don't see that helping too much. But outside of that, definitely good. The fact that it's available at 4-star is also definitely welcome. No more 5-starring Walter to kill him off, especially since Walter is a better unit, if I'm being honest. Well, not better unit straight up, but he has more potential. It's just that Walter kinda is expensive to build with his best build, which requires brazen attack speed, of course. Anyway, so yeah, let's move on to comparison. Comparison. One day I'll learn how to pronounce this word naturally. As I said, Garen beats Young Tiki in HP, attack, def, and res. Not by much, but Mer just kind of pushes her up the pushes her off the edge. Wow, holy shit! Why is it so hard for me to talk right now? So Garen is a slightly better min-maxed Tiki, if I'm being honest. Unless you get speed plus on Tiki, her speed is completely pointless. It's kind of the same concept as Quan, where his speed is really bad, but not too horrible. It basically ends up being like, okay, see it like this. Neutral is bad, minus is good, plus is good. It's a very, very weird concept, I know, but like Quan would like to have attack plus speed minus, or def plus speed minus. But speed plus def minus is also a fantastic IV for him. And so is a speed plus res minus or speed plus HP minus. It's very odd, but it is what it is. Anyway, so Adult Tiki on the other end, which actually has availability as a pro, can completely outclass him. Just with the fact that, well, unlike Garen, unless you run Breath of Fog, if you run Lightning Breath for the DC, which you probably want to also run on Garen down the line, at times, at least for PvE content, she can just close the gap between her res and Garen's res. Also, Res Plus, if you have Res Plus and a Res Refine, you're at 35-31, whereas Garen is at 33-32. You also have 2 more attack, and even if you're refining, you know, Garen's Breath, like Lightning Breath, you won't be able to just catch up in every stat. Maybe make your res a bit better, that's basically it. And on top of that, Adult Tiki is plus tenable pretty easily to some extent, whereas Garen isn't. So, yeah. If anything, it's just great to have more red dragons, because as it stands, we had Tiki, Tiki, and Tiki, and now we have an old man with a fucking rhyme face for laughter on his fucking face. You know. What else is new? You know, it's really weird to be like, ooh, so you have Lowly Dragon, you have Lowlier Dragon, you have Adult Dragon, and then you have an old man. Thinking. It's just so weird. Summer Younger Young Tiki is not in this comparison, by the way. Reason being, she just blows everyone out of the water. From the get-go, she already has more BST than everyone here, straight up. Which, kinda is a huge boon for her, because all of her stats are at the right place. She has really good def, she has good speed, she has good attack, her HP is alright. Her res is about the same as Adult Tiki, so salvageable. And she has like one of the best fucking weapons in the game. What else do I have to say? Like, there's no comparison here. She's just that good. So yeah, I think that about sums it up. Garen is a serviceable GHB, and the fact that it's a red dragon, which is not exactly a type that a lot of people have, outside of Adult Tiki, most people just don't really have red dragons, so having a free red dragon was actually a good move. It's a serviceable GHB, and it's definitely in a type of unit that is, well, not very used, which is good, because I was expecting this guy to be in an armored axe unit, which is fucking oversaturated to shit. Even though he's armored, quite clearly. Kinda would have been cool to be a red armored dragon, but at the same time, not really. But yeah, I think that about sums it up. I've been going for 1 hour, and I think I'm going to have to go rest. Expect a lot of video coming out, not today, but tomorrow. Because, well, after this video is up, I need to go to work. Actually, it's, well, maybe not to go to work, but get ready for work. And I kind of want to just relax tomorrow, just because I've been working on videos a lot recently. But yeah, as usual, Discord will be in the description if you want to actually talk with me. And as usual, have a nice one, y'all.